I'm here in my front room. Let me back up a little bit, show you what I'm looking at here. This is where I have my coffee in the morning. Read, write. This is, I guess, would be called the formal dining room. But there's the front door, and then over there you can't hardly see it, but it has like a room off it, and I just use it for a second TV room. But yeah, and this is where I keep some of my books. I probably got 3 times this many. These are sort of for public consumption that people come over. But I also have a sort of a private reserve stock that I keep. But if you look at my bookshelf, it's about managing money. You know, the great 401 hoax, 401k hoax, retirement, the 2 income trap. And if you go over here, this is one of my favorite. If I can't do it, it can't be done, at least not by me. But a lot of books on real estate. You can see them here. I want to make you dizzy here. Beating inflation with real estate. But and then I have this shelf, which is kind of some of my books that I consider more valuable just because for what I read. Yeah, this is one of my favorite books, and really the E-Myth. And I just picked up at the Goodwill a copy of the E-Myth Revisited. I'm looking forward to reading that. One of the classics here, A Random Walk Down Wall Street, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But these are kind of, this is really couple of interesting books here. Great money management book. The 4 Laws of Debt-Free Prosperity, sort of one of the original books on getting out of debt. This is kind of an interesting one. I was looking through the paper and happened to notice that this guy was going to be speaking at that library in Phoenix. And this book is about basically thinking of $1 million as just another product, and how you would go about financing a product and buying that product. The 4-Hour Work Week, First Things First, Do What You Love, The Money Will Follow, The Millionaire Next Door. Incredibly important book. And if you haven't read it, you should probably get on that. And up here, kind of a little under the shelf, is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, one of the classics. And then I have a few more real estate books here. You can hear the doves maybe in the background. Here's an old one. How to Get Land from Uncle Sam. A Fortune at Your Feet, a Goodkin Guide. More over here. Kind of an interesting one, just a really basic plan. How to Retire with $1 Million. And it's strictly about just investing in real estate. Here's an old book. Increase Your Income and Wealth Building Apartment Buildings. And Housewives, Dean Grazioso, which used to sell this book on infomercials late at night. Not this book, but one of his books, like one of his first books. Managing Rental Properties for Maximum Profit, which has to take the classic on being a landlord is the book called Landlording. Awesome book. You can tell by the size of it. Pretty much covers everything. So, so I'm going to take a quick pause here. I'm going to pause this And I'm going to show you what I call my private reserve stock. That's books that they're on a shelf in my library. In my bedroom, that I don't really want people rifling through when they come to visit. So I'm just going to walk back to the other part of my house. I will cut all this stuff out and edit, but take you back to I'm just headed back to my private reserve stock. Okay, so here we are at my private reserve stock. And these are books, I say, that are important to me for one reason or the other. Not all. Now, these are a little different. Catch-22, classic, The Richest Man in Babylon. Put that back there. Simple Living, Possum Living. This book is really interesting. It's about, living cheaply, being really frugal, and One Acre in Security, which is a classic, Your Cabin in the Woods. There's an interesting one, How to Retire Without Money. More books back there. A couple of my favorites. If Your Life Was a Business, Would You Invest in It? And of course, The Black Swan, which is the classic of classics. Then we go over to here, blah, 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 lots of stuff. But then here are here's my book of favorites that like I said, I keep back here, not locked away exactly, but a visitor wouldn't be rifling it through it. These are some, and this right here, actually I should move this one over here. But these three books were fundamental in developing a sort of my goals in real estate and in life in general. Cashing In on the American Dream, Live Rent Free, and if you are interested in investing in real estate, this is the first book you should read. And this is William Nickerson's classic, How I Turned $1,000 into $1 million in real estate in my spare time. Let me see if I can open this up with one hand. So there's the copyright page. Let's see if it'll focus on that. But anyway, the copyright page says 1959. So here's a book written in 1959 that is a great place to start and sort of proves the old adage, there's nothing new under the sun. It's a good-sized book, and it touches on a lot of facets. It's dated. It's kind of it's not the easiest book to go through because, the world has changed obviously a lot, but the fundamentals of real estate investing have not. And then here's a book. After reading the book by William Nickerson, I would recommend this book if you can find it. A lot of my books are out of print or hard to come by. But it's called The Income Stream, and it tells you, and this is a book that explains exactly how real estate makes people wealthy. And it talks about the 6 streams of real estate income, I think it is. But there was 2 books that kind of got me thinking back in the 90s about investing in real estate. This was one of them, and this was the other one. How to Live Rent-Free in the 1980s. This book is out of print now, and a used copy is going to cost you $50 or so. But yeah, great book. And those two books got me thinking, along with this book, Cashing In on the American Dream, How to Retire at 35. Very interesting stuff. And those are the first three books that I would recommend reading, just to get the old cogs oiled up. Real estate, I don't know. I can admit, do people always say, the opportunities aren't what they used to be? I guess, probably, but I bought my first house in San Diego for like $109,000, and that house since has sold for almost $1 million. Of course, that's over the course of 25 years, something like that. But still, just about anyone could buy a $100,000 house, but how many people can buy $1 million house? But anyway, that's a peek into my bookshelf. And 3 books I heartily recommend if you're interested in beginning or considering a real estate investment journey.